Hello everybody, good morning, good evening, good afternoon earthlings, all living beings on this wonderful planet that we all share. But I don't say good morning, good evening or good afternoon to robots because I don't like them. Anyone who knows me knows I detest bots. I think they are the scourge of humanity. I think they are the root of all evil. Right. I saw Trevor's live this morning and I thought he was extremely eloquent. I couldn't have said it better myself. I hope those at YouTube, and they know who they are, hang their heads in shame and brace themselves for when they're outed, because there are rogue employees, I believe, and they're going to be outed. Also to the paid trolls and sugars that have made disgusting threats and disgusting comments on the Mirror article. How are you going to feel? Are you going to stand by all those words when you're outed? Because it's coming. It's coming. Believe me. Now, speaking of the Mirror article and all the comments, my, weren't they on that quickly? And in force. How did they even know about the article? Was it a call to arms? That I found very, very telling. And towing a party line, shall we say. So any genuine Meghan supporters out there, who I know they do exist and they are generally lovely people who believe in romance and love wins out and everything, and why not? That is such a wonderful thing to believe in. Go have a look at the comments on the Mirror. Think about the person who made the threat to Trevor saying they were going to knife him while he was asleep. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, dimwit that he is, need to come out and denounce these people and say they do not represent us. Come on. We all know you watch the videos, Windsor. You watch all the YouTubers. We know. So why don't you come out and say that's disgusting? That's not full of kindfulness and mindfulness and thoughtfulness. One act of compassion at a time and a global community. That's not very nice, is it, Meghan? Someone threatening to knife Trevor, a decorated soldier, fought for his country, fought for his monarch. It's not very nice. So you should come forward and say that you don't approve of that. Christopher Busey is very, very silent. So is Omid. It's almost as if they're under orders to zip it until a certain court case is over. And I pray to God that Judge Honeywell does not throw anything out of that Markle versus Markle case. I pray to God, because Judge Honeywell, if you watch this, and I think you do subscribe, because I've done a couple of videos with your name in the title, and I might put you in this one as well. What you will discover is the more you grill Markle and her side, the more shocking it will become and more that will come out. Because as I have referenced once or twice before about our own personal narcs, there was a court case years ago, about 13 years ago, and one of the narcs had made up a load of bullshit about my husband, which resulted in my husband being arrested on some pretty dodgy charges. One was for just taking a photograph of something public and putting it on the internet. But they dropped that charge because the judge said, well, that's kind of ridiculous. You can't arrest someone for taking a picture. But then this narc pretended that they had received an email from my husband. Now, the email where they received it, I can't remember what it was. Let's just say for argument's sake, it was ABC123, Doc Martin, I've arrived at yahoo.com. It was a completely long-winded and not very easy to remember email address. When we got to court and they put the narc in the witness box, my husband was representing himself and he did a brilliant job. Even the prosecutor said, this is all going to fall apart. There's no way you're going to get done for this. This is ridiculous. I don't know how it's even got to this stage. So my husband said to the narc, what is this email address where you received this threatening email? And the narc astonishingly said, Well, it was a secret email that only I and my partner knew existed. We created it specially for this purpose. To which Graham said, so if no one knew the email existed, how could anyone, let alone me, email you? But Graham couldn't quite get the sentence out before the narc started going, oh, he's frightening me, he's frightening. Now, I'm going back 12 years. And the judge was quite elderly and didn't understand what emails were back then. And frustratingly, he took the side of the narc and he released him from the witness box. But that narc knew he was that close to getting done for perjury. He perjured himself unashamedly in that court. I wrote to the judge. The judge convicted Graham. He had to pay £700 for something he didn't do because a narc made some shit up. I hope you're listening, Judge Honeywell. I hope you're listening. Why did you enter the legal profession in the first place? Was it to twist and pervert and allow liars, or was it to fight truth and justice? I'll wager it was the latter and not the former, Honeywell. It is at the very least worth exploring further. Liars, in my experience, need to be questioned very, very closely. Not that I'm suggesting Meghan Markle's a liar. She's more of a, misrememberer, isn't she? A word I never heard of before in my life. So, why was Christopher Busey featured on the Netflix docuseries, which Meghan and Harry had full editorial control over? I mean, it's all like worlds colliding, isn't it? There's all these inconvenient questions out there. I looked on his Twitter feed and he is doxing another one of my friends, Sue Smith. He's actually actively doxing her. It was Christopher Busey who live streamed my 5-hour live on Twitter where Trevor was talking to Sue when Sue said, I've got trolls, people have guns, what do I do if they break into the house? And Trevor, half jokingly, said, well, if they break in, shoot them, shoot them, shoot them. That's what he's been demonetised for, by the way, guys. Not for using the C word, not for dropping F-bombs. That's what he's been demonetised for allegedly threatening to shoot Christopher Busey, and he never did anything of the sort. And that live is still on this channel. It was on my live. I was there. I heard him say that. I knew and understood the context in which he said it. I believe Christopher Busey knew and understood the context, but twisted the context to make it sound like it was something completely different. Wow. So yeah, the sugars, they were on that article on the Mirror so quickly, weren't they? Really organised. I mean, you guys, a lot of you guys are fans of Trevor, but you didn't know the article existed until I did a video last night saying, can you look at the article? And then I pinned a comment of Trevor's saying, can people please go over and defend him because he's getting ripped to shreds by an army, what looks to me like an orchestrated attack. So you, his fans, didn't know the article existed, but the sugars did. They were there, en masse. Whoopsie doodle. Freudian slip much? Now, I want to address JJ and Kenyon, who are 2 subscribers here who I have the utmost respect for. Because, well, firstly, JJ's more devil's advocate. Seems to me to be someone who likes to sit and see both sides of the argument. And he's not afraid to comment and posts excellent comments that go in depth. And Kenyon, I think, I'm not quite sure if Kenyon is a Meghan supporter particularly, or perhaps just more a Guardian type anti-monarchy. And anti-monarchists are just as welcome here as monarchists. But they both commented, and what I would urge both of them to do is go on the Mirror and have a look at some of those comments. They're despicable. They are, what do you two particularly think about Trevor being told he's going to get knifed in the night? Now, I know Trevor is a soldier. This is another thing that's come up with profanity. I swear myself, I will try not to in this, because I know some people don't like it, and some people actually faint or something. I don't know. Anyway, Trevor's a soldier. Soldiers can be profane. When they go into battle, I don't suppose they go up to the enemy and say, "Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Oh, I'm awfully sorry, old boy. I'm going to have to shoot you. It's an awful bore, you know, but, you know, rules of engagement and all that. Orders are orders. So just brace yourself. Terribly sorry about this, old chap." No, I don't suppose soldiers are like that. I don't know, maybe some soldiers are like that. Bit namby-pamby, shall we say. Now, I know you all enjoyed my rendition the other night, but there is actually not much more substance in this book that hasn't already been covered by other excellent people. There were one or two things that I noticed in it. One of them was something to do with the Queen's death. And Harry actually put the line in the book, it was so nice to have the whole family alive together at the Queen's funeral. The whole family alive. That line is actually in the book. Hate to mention it, Harry, but the whole family wasn't alive on that occasion. Your grandmother had died. There's also glaring omissions towards the end of the book. He talks about the Sandringham Summit, and he completely fails to mention that a public website, I think it was called Sussex Royal or something, was put up with a list of demands and what they wanted. He completely leaves that out, and he words it in such a way as if it never happened. A bit like rewriting history, or maybe misremembering. So now you know my story from the lying narc, right? Lying, perjuring narc. Now maybe some of you Meghan supporters can see where I'm coming from when I sit back and I feel helpless seeing something like that happening. And not very nice comments like when Oprah said, after there were conversations about how dark Archie's skin would be, what really always got to me was, "Oh, I don't think I should say. I think that could be very damaging." And if none of you guys out there can see what a bitch remark that was, then you're very, very naive. Wait until you've lived a bit longer. Wait until you've been on the receiving end of utter liars making crap up about you, dropping you in the shit and no one believing you or being able to see it. Wait until you've reached that. There is a bit in here which made me feel a little bit better about our future King William. They'd gone to see Diana's grave, Harry and William, just the two of them. And they were having a chat, you know, about the difficulties of life. And Harry had been complaining, you know, again, about articles about Meghan's black fingernails and all this, blah, blah, blah. And William said to him, "Don't worry, Harold, no one believes that shit." "Not true, they do. It's drip-fed to them day by day and they come to believe it without being aware." He didn't have a satisfying answer for that, so we were silent. I can imagine. Then he said something extraordinary. He said he thought Mummy was here, meaning among us. "Yes, me too, Willie." To which William said, "I think she's been in my life, Harold, guiding me, setting things up for me. I think she's helped me start a family, and I feel as though she's helping you too now." I nodded. "Totally agree. I feel as though she helped me find Meg." Will took a step back. He looked concerned. That seemed to be taking it a bit far. "Well, now, Harold, I'm not sure about that. I wouldn't say that." And that kind of warmed the cockles of my heart. Hope you do watch this, Windsor. You are absolutely pathetic little runt trying to take away the free speech of Americans. You are a guest in America. You are a guest, Windsor. You do not have the right to take away people's free speech. And it is coming. Headlines are coming. They are coming. So I hope that the things that people, trolls, have said in private, thinking they had their pure anonymity, I hope they're ready to stand by them. And let a light be shone upon it all. In the meantime, I hope you all have a fabulous Mother's Day. Apparently it's Mother's Day. My son drew a picture of me there on his homemade Mother's Day card last night. But it is really rather touching because he listed all his mess ups that have created stress for us over the last couple of years and said sorry. I love you, Benji. Thank you very much. And I got chips from McDonald's for my daughter. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Mother's Day, not Mother's Day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, even if it's raining, try and have a laugh. And don't let the robots divide us, because we are living beings and those bots are a scourge. Take my word for it. And well, I'm looking forward to certain things being exposed. Hopefully we don't have to wait too much longer. Thank you very much for listening.